where everyone's happy and consenting and loving life. And, you know, I think that it's just being able to see representation of all relationships now.
Yeah. What is something that I suppose men and women potentially misunderstand about each other in this space in terms of pleasure, sex? What is something that is a common misunderstanding in your experience?
Just like the orgasm gaps. Like I think that we're not taught pleasure-based education in schools, right? So we're not taught to engage in sex for pleasure. We're taught to engage in it for reproduction or like abstinence. And I think that we've grown up in a society that doesn't value female pleasure as much as male pleasure. And so I think the biggest thing will be to like really prioritize and understand that female pleasure has never really been prioritized. So to really create space for men to like learn and acknowledge and understand that, and just ask a woman what she wants. Like just ask her. It's, you know, like she'll tell you. She'll tell you, or she doesn't know because we weren't taught what we like. So it's like this big journey, you know? So I think that it's being able to recognize that and just make it like equal pleasure for everyone.
What is the most common feedback that you hear from the people that you talk to? What is the most common feedback that you hear from women as to why they don't experience an orgasm in sex? Because
I don't know how to. They've never been taught how to.
I think you would know this number.
Yeah.
I'm sure. And is it something like 80% of the time women don't experience an orgasm in sex?
Yeah. Oh, I wish I remembered the actual statistic. Don't quote me on this. It's fine. Like 87% of women don't have an orgasm from penetrative sex.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I knew it was an 80 something.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's something like oh my god, it was this crazy stat that came out recently that blew my mind. It was something like 97% of women.
He's got it. What is it? I can't
what
say.
What does that say?
65 to 75.
65 to 75.
It's still a ridiculously high number.
Yeah, there was this test, this study that was done where it was like 97% of women orgasm from masturbation.
Right.
But only like 13% orgasm from penetrative sex, whereas like 97% of men orgasm from masturbation and 97% of men orgasm from penetrative sex. So it's like the gap of that is insane.
I think it's something in the ballpark of it takes, I think it's like 5 to 10 minutes for the average man to orgasm, but it takes something like 20 to 40 minutes for the average woman.
Yeah.
And so what would you
grease up the engine?
Yeah, well, there's obviously a misunderstanding there for guys. What would you say to that to address that misunderstanding? Because obviously you talk to people about this and you're very qualified in the space. What would you say to guys who have this misunderstanding?
Ask your partner what she wants and what turns her on, or what they want, what turns them on. Use lube. Foreplay. I think it's just engaging in things and like really asking the other person what they want and what they need to feel turned on is the number one thing. It's just engaging in those conversations, and also just use lube all the time. And
if penetrative sex is statistically speaking, the fact of sex that is least likely to result in an orgasm, is it just, like you said, maximizing that time beforehand. Yeah. And when, I suppose, I remember I was reading something, I was saying that starts early in the day. That doesn't have to start when you're having sex, but building the intimacy and touch and things like this over the course of a day. Yeah, it helps a lot. It really helps to, and it's also just fun and exciting to like start that off, or even just like start texting that person or engaging in that kind of play and that cheekiness before the sex actually happens is a great way to engage in that. And also just like, figure out where the clitoris is, Yeah. Like that's the one. Like clitoral stimulation is just going to be the thing. That's most... Hey, every woman's different, so everyone's going to orgasm differently. Also use sex toys. Sex toys are great. Don't be intimidated by them in the bedroom. They're friends. Sex toys, so you would recommend implementing those? Yeah, if the person's comfortable. Like I think one of the greatest things that you can do is like bring a vibrator for the woman into the bedroom, for sure. Okay, yeah. And is there anything that comes to mind in terms of a misunderstanding the other way? That is a misunderstanding towards, I suppose, men's approach to sex or what they want? Yeah, I think that there's a really big stereotype that, men always want to engage in sex all the time, that they don't also have feelings, that they... I think there's a lot of pressure on men to perform all the time and to always want sex. And it's not gendered. It shouldn't have to be. Like, just because you're a man doesn't mean you have to be open to sex all the time as well. So I think that being okay with that and knowing that it's okay to not want sex all the time is just as healthy as